I don't disregard sold listings, but to me, sold listings are not the same thing as what's currently available on eBay. And a lot of people disagree with me with this, like I said. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wax Talk with Raw Mints. I'm Carlos, and Bruce is not going to be on this week's episode. We ran into a scheduling conflict when we were planning on recording, and due to mostly one of our best friends got married this weekend. Shout out to Eric and Sophia. Congratulations again. We were both in the wedding, and just when we planned on recording, it just didn't happen. But Bruce will be back on next week's episode as usual, and we'll get back to our dual opinion on the hobby and all things sports cards. But for now, if you could be sure to also follow us on Instagram at Raw Mints. That's where we post the majority of all of our content. That's the most active social media platform that we're on. And we also enjoy helping provide some valuable information. We talk about pop reports. We ask polls, trying to checking the temperature of the hobby on certain topics, usually hot button issues, sometimes just normal everyday questions that we have for all of you. We thank all of you for always engaging and participating with our Raw Mints page. And we also thank you for listening to the podcast. It's a funny story. At the wedding, a few people actually came up to us and talked to us about the podcast and said that they were listening and they continue to listen. So shout out to you guys. We really appreciate the support, and shout out to everybody else that also listens weekly. We see our numbers climbing slowly but steady, and being a lot more consistent. We apologize for any of the consistency issues that we had, both with our, putting the episodes out on time, as well as the lack of sound quality on my end. Windows 10 is terrible to record with. You have to kind of stay on top of it. The last 3 episodes that we recorded, I know you can notice now that I don't sound like I'm recording from a tin can anymore. Thankfully, I figured it out, luckily, with the help of a few YouTube videos and lots of searching. I finally figured out what was the issue, and the microphone settings, I guess whenever there's any sort of small update, they don't save your microphone settings within Windows 10. So it wasn't the microphone this whole time. It was definitely my laptop. So now I just know exactly what I need to look for if our voices or my voice starts to sound weird again. So I'm glad to be back. I apologize for not figuring it out sooner, but now that we're back and I know what the issue was, we're back to sounding how we should sound, and highest quality level of recording and a podcast out there. Because that's actually really one of our main reasons for recording the podcast is obviously there's a lot of podcasts out there. We're not the first sports card podcast by any means, but we wanted to focus on being the highest quality, one of the highest quality podcasts that we could be, and sound quality is definitely one of the things that we focused on. We wanted to make sure we were set up and sounding great. So again, we apologize, and we appreciate you sticking it out the last 3 episodes, and hopefully we won't be having any of those issues going forward. But again, we appreciate it, and we appreciate your feedback. We appreciate you listening every week and supporting the podcast, and we'll continue to do this. This is something we love to do. This is something that we enjoy doing every week, and recording and talking cards. It's definitely one of our passions. Bruce has been passionate about it since he was a kid. He got me into it about 2 years ago now, and I've been super passionate about it every day. I'm always on eBay, always trying to find something new to pick up, something new to get into and start collecting. And speaking of eBay, that's kind of what this episode, it's going to be a shorter episode because it's just me and we don't have Bruce's feedback. So that's why I kind of wanted to focus on something that I spend more time doing when it comes to raw mints, and that's listing on eBay. So that's what this episode is going to be about, is how I've found success with listing on eBay, and kind of the tips that I recommend, or, kind of sharing my process and how I list on eBay and how I price on eBay for anybody out there that maybe doesn't have access to, let's say, a local card shop, or doesn't have a very large sports card community in their area or region, or don't have access to sports card shows and trading card shows in their area, or shows that don't happen as frequently. I obviously, and Bruce definitely prefers, he does the majority of his sales in person. It's all cash, so that's always great usually. And it's also a more fun way to sell, in my opinion. I love going to sports card shows, and I love talking cards, and talking prospects, talking goats, and seeing what people have and offering what I have. It's one of the best ways to deal in person. You don't have to worry about shipping. You don't have to worry about anything getting lost in the mail. It's definitely my preferred way to sell, but the majority of the way that I sell is via eBay. I don't list anything on StockX. I don't list anything on Mercari. I don't list anything else on any other websites or any sort of vaults or platforms at the moment. I handle our eBay account, so anything that is sold on our eBay account, whether it's mine or Bruce's slab, or raw cards, you're not gonna obviously know on the front end, but I'm the one that's responsible for pricing and taking the highest quality photos I can, and getting them out there to all of you that have been loyal patrons to us. You've really helped us change our lives, really, when it comes to sports cards. You've not only helped us achieve our financial goals and anything that we've kind of needed at the time or wanted. You've definitely provided us with an avenue of whether it's reaching financial goals, or selling cards to trade in for a bigger card, or a card that we've been wanting to have in our collection for a while. So selling on eBay, I know that there's a lot of pros and cons to it. A lot of people say a lot more cons, the fees, the lack of protection from a seller's point of view, and just some of the overall shadiness that happens. Shill bidding is a problem, and it's been a problem for a while, ever since that Bill Mastro story. If you have a chance, check out, it's an episode, I think it's an MSNBC show. It's called American Greed, and I forget the episode, but if you just Google search it, I believe that the full episode's on Vimeo. But if you look up the episode about Bill Mastro and Mastro's auctions, really interesting stuff. If you're not familiar with Bill Mastro, he got really popular in the advent of the internet and online sales, and they actually ran their own auction house, and he owned that auction house. He's notoriously infamous for trimming that Honus Wagner card from an uncut sheet, and it kind of came to fruition after he was bragging about how he did it and got away with making a ton of money off of that. Super shady dude. I know that people make mistakes, and they can learn from their mistakes, but I don't know. Fraud is one thing that's like, yeah, it might seem like a faceless crime, but if you were the person that got ripped off or was a victim of shill bidding, whether you're a buyer or a seller, I don't like that. There's no place in the hobby for people like that, and people are well aware of it. I'm sure there's people that will give this dude a second chance. I saw him on his appearance, I want to say it was an IG live video with Rick Propstein, which those auction houses, Propstein, PWCC, Marketplace, these types of big sellers, I don't really want to talk negatively about people and speculate or jump to conclusions about these things, but shill bidding does happen, and it's a problem. It's public knowledge. eBay pretty much banned PWCC Marketplace from having auctions on their platform. So who knows what's going on behind there, but I guess it was apparently due to shield bidding. And I want to have a full episode on shield bidding, actually. I think that might be our next episode. I want to hear from Bruce on that because I know he definitely has some opinions on that. We've talked about it before. But anyway, sorry, getting off track. It's tough without Bruce here. But anyways, so that Bill Mastro dude, pretty shady guy. And, it's just, there's lots of people like that out there. There's lots of people that are looking to take advantage of people, not really caring about their own reputation. And, if enough people believe you're BS, it kind of stops being BS anymore, so, but when it comes to eBay, we really do value our reputation. We really do value, our honesty. We try the majority of the sales, now that we have gotten our cards back from grading, the majority of our listings on eBay are graded cards, which is just overall easier to do on eBay. People can buy with confidence knowing that it's graded. They can do their own, personal research into the certification number on our PSA slabs and look them up and see all of these numbers you can tell are from the same sub with the certification numbers. So, we try to just be honest, and we value our position in the hobby. I know we're not one of the big players. We're not one of the, major names in the hobby. There's definitely much bigger accounts and people out there, nationally and worldwide, that are in the hobby, but we still value our reputation. We've got a little over 5,000 followers, trying to get to 10,000 so we can start, doing swipe ups on IG and all of those good things that come with the 10,000 follower count. We value our position in the hobby, and we don't ever want to take advantage of anybody out there. We want to make sure that what you see in photos or what you purchase from us is in fact what you ordered. And we do sell raw cards on eBay. When I first started in the hobby, I was buying a lot of, bulk lots and, trying to make small little flips and investments with raw cards and buying complete sets, which is another episode topic that we have coming up. But buying complete sets and, choosing grading candidates and then listing any of the candidates that weren't grade worthy, which I've had an episode about this. You can go back and listen to the investment strategy that I had, and I shared with all of you. But anytime we do list those things, we always say this is near mint to mint. It's not, we never do misleading, titles. I think eBay's actually cracking down on that, but we never have, misleading titles or misleading descriptions of, we think it's a PSA 10 or we think it's a BGS, whatever. We don't mislead people. We let people know, photos reflect as is condition. Whatever you see in the photos is what you're getting. And if you have any questions, or if you ever have want to see more photos or maybe a different angle or trying to get better photos of the surface, we have that in our description. Reach out to us before purchase if you want to see more, especially when it comes to raw cards. Because we do understand that people are like us. People are trying to buy, get the card that they want graded at the best price possible. And most of the time, that's going to be the raw copy of the card. And again, when it comes to buying cards on eBay and buying raw, it's always a risk. It's always a gamble. Just kind of expect, hope for the best, but expect the worst. It might have a ding corner that you didn't see. But again, we like to try to be as transparent as possible. If there is a ding corner, if there is a surface scratch, we always include, read in our title to have people read our description. Obviously, we can't fit, we can't put surface issues or anything like that in our title because we're trying to maximize our views with our specific titles that we use. So we always include that in our description. If there are any issues that we see that are apparent to us, just to kind of give people a heads up before they purchase, which not everybody's buying raw cards to grade. A lot of people are, but not everybody's doing that. A lot of people just don't care about grading at all and just want to pick up a raw copy of the card, or a copy of the card at the best price they can. We try to kind of stay away from that unless it's not a super popular card and we're picking up like a bulk lot of this card, just because we want to try to find some grading candidates. You just have to just know that if it's a really expensive raw card and you're trying to find the best possible price on that raw card, chances are the lowest price plus shipping card is not going to be in the best condition. So, it is tough to price cards that are in raw condition. And if you think that your raw copy is in better condition than, some of the lower listed copies, obviously price it how you feel. That's what's kind of tough about listing raw cards. And that's just kind of why we try to focus on selling graded slabs, graded cards, much more than raw cards, because then people know pretty much exactly what they're getting. So really what it comes down to is I just wanted to share with all of you how I list cards on eBay, and how I try to kind of maximize my returns in the least amount of time as possible. So whenever I'm listing my cards, the process starts with I take the best quality photo. I have a light box that I purchased on Amazon a long time ago. It's like a plastic light box that can easily be broken down if you need to store it. I usually just keep mine open right now. That will probably change with our baby on the way. I'm probably going to want to, maximize space for everything that goes along with that over time. But for now, I usually keep that up, just ready to go, just in case, I want to list cards or Bruce wants me to list some cards for him. I have it ready to go. So I set it up, I usually have a stack of cards that I'm planning on selling, whether it's raw or graded cards. And I usually arrange them in order. I have multiple cards that are from the same product. I try to kind of list them in order. I'm a little bit more OCD about how I list things. You don't have to be this way, but it just helps me to organize things better. I'll sort any cards that I'm about to list by the product they came out of and the year. And then I also list them and take photos of them in alphabetical order. So however I take photos of them and have them organized beforehand, I put them in, a graded card box or just a shoe box, so that I can easily know exactly where those cards are whenever people purchase them later. That's just me trying to just save a little bit more time and just to be a little bit more organized. Not everybody chooses to be that way, but that's a tip that I will definitely share, so that you'll just see, it just helps at the end whenever you do sell, so you're not taking forever to ship cards out. Just have them in organized fashion in a shoebox in your, listed cards organization box, I guess you could say. The next thing that I do after I have my photos done, I try to keep them as consistent as possible again. Try to just have the highest quality photos possible on eBay so that people know that, okay, this guy is serious about how he lists his cards and how he presents himself, and looks like he takes good care of them. So I have those ready to go, have them organized. The very first step that I do whenever I'm starting to list cards is I'll just have a few windows open or a few tabs open, actually, with the eBay tabs and kind of just doing price research at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll create a new listing for whatever card I may be listing. And the first step that I do is just kind of finding the lowest price that is available currently on eBay. A lot of people will disagree with me with this, and it's usually buyers that are disagreeing with me because they don't like the price. But some people price their listings on the most recently sold cards of that card. Let's just say of that current grade or whatnot, and that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. But me personally, I think that things change so much in the market can change from minute to minute. You know, people can get traded, people can get injured, people can have issues or something outside of sports. Everything changes by every second, and that's just something that I don't really focus on. So I don't disregard sold listings, but to me, sold listings are not the same thing as what's currently available on eBay. And a lot of people disagree with me with this, like I said. So pretty much how I feel about it is I'm going to give you the best price out there on eBay that's currently available for this exact card. So I'll beat any price that's pretty much on eBay as far as what is available to the public to purchase. And I think that's pretty fair. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm not trying to disregard, like I said, sold listings, but that's not how it works. Like, you can kind of equate it to stocks and buying and selling stocks. You can't go to your stockbroker, and say, hey, I want to buy this stock, but I see that it sold for $5 under the stock price or $100 under the stock price a day ago. I want that price. You can't go to your stockbroker. Your stockbroker's going to be like, well, that's not what it's going for. So that's kind of my explanation for it. I know that might seem a little insensitive, but that's just how it goes. You know, like if you can find a cheaper listing than what we have listed on eBay, I will gladly honor it. You know, unless it's something insane or I just don't feel comfortable doing it. But 9 times out of 10, if you can find a better price as far as what's currently available in the market, then I'll beat it. I will. I mean, that's just honest. I'm not trying to take advantage of people. I'm just trying to not lose money for something that either I waited a long time to get back from grading or I purchased at a certain price point. I'm trying to maximize my profits. We all are. But I'm always willing to work out a deal with somebody regardless. You know, all of our listings that we ever have have a best offer option, all of them. Because we're open to trying to find the best price for people. But when it comes to pricing initially, that's what I base my pricing off of, is I'll go to eBay and I'll search for the exact card that I'm listing currently, and I'll switch the filter to buy it now, and I'll change the sort to lowest price plus shipping. So that's going to give you the absolute lowest price for that exact card description or title that you're searching for, currently available on eBay. And whatever that price is, I'll add it up. Say it's $50 plus $5 shipping. To me, that's how eBay's calculating that is that's card is $55 to purchase. So what I'll do is I'll just depending on the card, depending on what I think a fair price is, sometimes almost 9.5 times out of 10, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up whatever the total of the lowest price option available on eBay is, and I'm just going to subtract our $3.99 standard shipping if it's something that's under $150, or if it's over $150, we charge $7.99, and it just kind of goes up with the value of cards that we have. But I'll just subtract my shipping costs from the total value or the total price plus shipping, and then depending on the price point, I'll take $5 to $10 off of it just right off the bat, just to be the absolute lowest and not try to take away from anybody else trying to sell the same cards, because I do think about that as well. But I'm not trying to undercut or lowball the market, but that's how I sell cards quickly. And that's not always the case. That's not always how I operate, but that's usually how I list my cards as far as pricing goes. If it's something that's more rare, if it's a pop 1 or a low population and there's none listed, I'll try to find a player that's maybe similar in status or skill set or popularity, and just try to base that pricing off of that. Another option that I pursue if I can't find any data on it is I will go to sold listings and see what the most recent, card sold for. But most of the time I'm able to find something on eBay that's available and just beat the price. This allows us to sell quickly, sell quicker than having to wait around. But again, like I said, if it's a card that's more rare, if it's something like I currently have a Leo Messi numbered to 25 parallel PSA 9 slab of Revolution listed on eBay, and I priced it where I think I would let go of it for, because it is Messi, it is a PC card of mine, but I have it listed. But my settings are different. I think I currently have it listed at like $899.99, and I'm open to offers of anywhere that I'm comfortable with letting go of it. So it's like $400 and up. So a little pro tip out there: if you're a fan of ours, then you go to our Raw Mints page. I'm open to offers starting at $400. So there's a little tidbit of info there if you've been listening. But when it comes to usually listing cards that are either popular or have a higher population, I'm going to be able to find enough data, and there's going to be enough listings that are currently available for me to be able to price it fairly and competitively for people. Another thing that I do, so I make sure the title is shares everything that I possibly can. I don't do any sort of rare or whatever type of buzzwords in there. If you're looking for that exact card, that's what you're looking for. So let's say, for instance, if I'm listing a Cristiano Ronaldo graded card, and it's an optic hollow, right? And PSA 9. So my title is pretty much going to be 2018 Panini Donruss Optic Cristiano Ronaldo, and then I'll have the card number, which I should know that, but I'll have the card number right after that. And then because it's a hollow, some people call them silvers, I'll do silver hollow PSA 9 mint, and that's it. That's all you really need. And if there's enough space for me, and maybe it's his Portugal kit, or if he's in his Juventus kit, I'll add Portugal if it'll fit. And that's really, I try to just include everything. I don't just put 2018 Optic Cristiano Ronaldo. I do 2018 Panini Donruss Optic, because that is the card, that is the product. So I have the title, I have my photos added. In my description, I list anything that might be wrong with the card. Maybe there's a scratch on the slab, maybe there's something that you can't see at the naked eye. Again, we don't try to mislead anybody when it comes to listing cards and selling cards, because we expect the same in return. So everything that needs to go in the description will go there. Anything that the buyer should be aware of, that we're aware of. It's just about disclosure at the end of the day. So we'll also include the type of shipping that you'll be purchasing. If it's anything under $150, we usually just ship it with our standard $3.99 shipping, and that's USPS first class mail, in just a regular package, bubble mailer, and secured, obviously. If it's anything above $150, maybe even $200, we're gonna upgrade that shipping to USPS flat rate small box. We pretty much price what we think is the value of cards, so that shipping will have the tracking and all of that information. And we only ship USPS, if I'm being straight up. And if it's a really high dollar card, like anything over 500, we will charge us a flat rate of $9.99. If it's like anywhere from 500 to 1,000, and that will pretty much cover the insurance cost. We'll pay for full insurance of the price of the card, and you'll get that priority mail flat rate box. It'll be super secure and whatnot. Anything over 1,000, we pretty much just add whatever the insurance cost is into it. If we're selling something that's $2,000, the most you're probably going to be paying is $15 in shipping, just because we want to make sure that everything is included, the insurance, signature, delivery, just automatic, just to protect both you and us. So that will all go into the description. If it is fresh from PSA, if it is a slab that we graded ourselves, we will include that. We'll say fresh from PSA. We put a protective sleeve on it and it's ready to go. So it's not going to be moving around. There's not going to be any sort of new scratches or anything introduced to it on our end. I can't really say much about USPS, but that's why we package our cards as securely as possible for our buyers. And then the next thing that we do is, like I said, we go back to the lowest available card currently on eBay. And we price it, like I said, depending on the price point, under whatever the lowest available is, so that we're the best price on eBay. And we have an automatically accept feature. If let's say that the card is $200 and we have a auto accept for $190, so $10 off right off the bat without us having to approve anything. Sometimes we'll go, and then for the best offer, it just depends on how rare the card is. If it's a popular card and we know how much they're going for, we'll set it at most likely, like I said, for that same $200 card, maybe we'll accept offers starting at $150 or $125. It really just depends on the card. That's one thing that varies. We do have our best offer settings set to where you can send something that we think is fairly reasonable and fair. And we have that auto decline feature. That's what I meant by that. The auto decline at a certain amount. If it's something super low ball, we just don't even deal with it. That $200 card is not going to sell, I think, for less than $100. So I might set it there, might set it for $125 or $150. It depends. But if you're going to lowball us, I understand taking your shot, and sometimes it works, but to me, it's kind of a slap in the face. So we just kind of eliminate that with our auto decline feature. And then we just make sure all the information is good. Make sure all of the descriptions are correct. We make sure that all of the possible, boxes are checked. We make sure that it's the correct player. We make sure it's any of their possible teams that they played for. So when it comes to, let's say, just keeping on task with Cristiano Ronaldo, we'll have him selected, obviously, and then we'll have the following teams selected for him. So we'll say Manchester United, Sporting, Juventus, Portugal, Real Madrid. These are the teams that we're going to have selected, because some people might just be a fan of Cristiano Ronaldo and they might be searching for Real Madrid cards or whatever. We'll just have that all selected so that we get more eyes on it. Obviously, if you see the card and it's in his Portugal kit, he's not in any of his club kits, so that's just how it goes. But that kind of gets more eyes on your listing. Another thing is just make sure that all of the the descriptions or the type of card are selected. If it's a serial numbered card, make sure that you select serial numbered. If it's a parallel, make sure the parallel is selected. If it's a first edition card, make sure that's selected. Pretty much anything that describes your card, definitely have that selected and checked. Because not everybody searches on eBay the same, and some people are just looking for serial numbered cards and just looking for parallels. And if you don't have that selected, I'm not going to say that it's not going to pop up, but why even take the chances? Just verify and make sure that everything that pertains to your card is checked. That'll get the most eyes on your card. Make sure the correct season is selected. This is just all to help bring more traffic, not only to your eBay page and the rest of your cards that you have listed, but this card specifically. So that's kind of our main way, or at least my main way of listing cards, is I just leave no stone unturned. I don't try to mislead people. I don't list anything that I don't think is in the great shape without mentioning it. It's all about disclosure. So that's pretty much how we list our cards. So we offer 1 day shipping. We offer combined shipping, and that's all that's put into our eBay. So a lot of this stuff might just be common knowledge to some people, but you'd be surprised. We do a lot of purchasing on eBay. We look for a lot of cards, both raw and graded, and you'd be surprised how little info is included in some of these cards. And to our to our benefit, sometimes cards that are improperly listed are, not getting as many bids in their auctions, and we end up winning because something was incorrect. It's happened multiple times, and you just be shocked of how much info is not provided by sellers. Obviously, that can hurt you if the card's in negative shape or bad condition, but it can also benefit you if sellers aren't doing their due diligence to maximize the views or the eyes that they get on their account or their cards that they're selling. So you can look that way. You can look at it multiple ways, but this is just kind of our process, and we wanted to share this with you. If you aren't familiar with selling on eBay, again, that's the only place that we list our cards. Other than our website, that's the only place that we list our cards. We don't use StockX. We don't use Mercari. eBay has just been the easiest for us. They have some sort of protection for sellers. They're getting better about it. They're actually getting much better about it of, how many days you have to return, and some of their policies are changing to help sellers more than they were before. But to me, it's just the easiest place to do it, and it's probably the most popular marketplace to sell sports cards in general. So I really hope that this information helped. I'm sorry if it might seem like it's not helpful, but there are some people out there that would probably benefit of how to sell on eBay. Maybe sellers that sell only in person, and they want to, just get their cards that they're willing to let go of on eBay just so it's there, depending on even how you price it. And again, you could price your cards exactly however you feel is fair for you. It's at the end of the day, it's your cards. Don't ever let people tell you that you should be charging less, or that you should take a less offer, or that you're price gouging. Whatever you think the value of your card is, that's your value. It's not the standard. You might have a tough time selling cards if you are way above market price or what they're currently going for, or if you have auto decline set for too high. It might take some time, but at the end of the day, you're the seller. You have the power in the situation. I don't suggest price gouging people. I don't suggest ripping people off. But hey, that's how this hobby goes. If you're at a card show and you're selling a card, you have something available, and somebody comes up and lowballs you, you can just say, no, I'm not taking that offer. You'd have to get higher, and you just work out a deal that way. It's the same thing with eBay. But again, the value of your cards is determined by you. If you own them, it's determined by you. And whether you're pricing to sell or you're selling to, okay, this is the absolute lowest I'll go on this card because I like this card, or it has some sort of sentimental value to you. You don't have to listen to my advice at all. This is just my opinion on how to sell things at a decent price, at a fair price, and how to sell them quicker. This happens all the time. I've been selling on eBay for almost 2 years now, and have had lots of success with it and made lots of money this way and quickly. The longer a card sits on the market, it's just like anything else. The longer a house sits on a market, it usually starts to, the price that you have it at might seem like it's not, people aren't willing to pay it. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. And that's how we find our success with selling on eBay. If any of you out there have any sort of tips or anything that I may have missed or said wrong, or even if you have an opinion on how we list, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Raw Mints. You can talk to me directly. You can ask for Bruce. It doesn't really matter. But if you have any sort of feedback on this episode, or if you want any more advice or anything else that we can help you with, or even helping, you value a card that maybe is a low population or doesn't have much sales data, we're here to help you be successful in the hobby, whether it's for monetary gains or for collecting gains. We're here to help. We are a resource to all of you, and we really appreciate you listening every week. Sometimes scheduling conflicts happen. We wish Bruce was on this episode, but this is just our priority is to make sure that we get out an episode a week for all of you, whether it's both of us or just one of us. Sometimes we just have to be flexible in that way. So I really hope that you benefited from today's episode, and maybe you learned something new. Maybe it's just a refresher, or eBay changes their policies and their guidelines so much, and their listing interface changes so much. It's changed so much since I started. But this is just kind of the basics that shouldn't really change regardless of a user interface change or design change on their end. But this is how we do it, and this is how we find our success. But again, thank you for listening to the podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow if you aren't already. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Raw Mints. Reach out to us. Say hi. We love talking to new people. We love talking to new collectors or old collectors. It doesn't really matter. And we love helping. So next week, just be sure to tune in. Bruce will be back. We have some pretty cool episode topics that we were able to talk about over the weekend that we're excited to share with all of you. So stay tuned for that. And with that being said, this has been another episode of Wax Talk with Raw Mints. I'm Carlos. Thank you for listening.